Clay Edgin talks about the upcoming California's Strongest Hands. We talk about predictions for the year 2018 and our own personal grip goals. We cover all this and more in episode 40, the big 40 of this week in grip.
Episode number 40 for This Week in Grip. It's here. This is Jedd Johnson. I've got Alan Heineck and Riccardo Magni on the line. And right out of the gates, just want to send some thoughts out to James Riccardo, who was in a pretty crazy car crash over the weekend at some point. I see that he rolled his vehicle, flipped his vehicle over 5 times down the hill, and ended up popping out of the car, well, getting out of the car once it all stopped rolling, and just apparently has a few small injuries. So glad to hear that he is doing pretty well. He anticipates being out of the grip scene doing feats and stuff for a while, but hopefully he can get bounced back ASAP. So thoughts going out to you, James. Some people have, real quick, they've written asking me where I've been. Just the short story is I've had some family stuff I had to take care of. And in the meantime, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do any shows, so I asked Alan and Riccardo to keep things rolling, and they did a great job. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. I love the show. I have a great time doing it, and in my absence, I didn't want it to fade away. So I asked these guys to take care of business, and they sure as heck did. Another thing about one of the recent shows, you'll notice that like episode 37 or 38, I think it's 38, I actually went back and broke it up into some separate segments because these guys did a really good job discussing certain topics in excellent detail. So I went and isolated those so that people didn't have to wade through the whole entire show to get to it. So I made sure to cut those out. You guys did a really good job on those. And then I'm a little stuffed up right now, so if you think that there's a bullfrog talking to you, it is actually me. And I just actually got off the ice right now. It's about 34 degrees, I believe, here where I live. So it was an excellent day for ice fishing, but the wind was just blowing ever so slightly. And it doesn't have to blow hard, but it blows right through you either way. So I'm a little bit dried out. So hopefully I don't pass out or anything like that halfway through the show. I think I'm good. I'm trying to rehydrate here with some good old H2O. I'm going to ask everybody to hit the like button at some point during this video if you're being entertained and you enjoy listening to people talk about grip. Please hit the like button. That helps out with our videos to get them propagated across YouTube, get it in front of more people's faces. So please hit the like button. And when you upload your videos on social media sites, especially Instagram, we have established the hashtag #ThisWeekInGrip. And guys, check my numbers if I'm wrong, but I saw, I believe, 847 posts for This Week in Grip just a few minutes ago.
It blew up. Yep,
That's
it
great.
blew up. We've tacked on a lot since the last couple episodes. So.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
And, engagement on the YouTube videos with the likes and comments and things like that is going to help big time. Using the hashtag #ThisWeekInGrip is going to help big time. Sharing the videos is going to help big time. Because remember, everybody, the first rule of grip sport is you must tell everyone about grip sport. We're going to have a special guest on the show today, and for as far as I know, he may have chimed in. I heard the chime.
No, that was me. I got disconnected and I had to reapply.
Okay, all right. So we're going to have Clay Edgin in. He's going to be talking to us. What's the topic of discussion with Clay this weekend, Riccardo?
Yeah, well, Clay's running a big contest at his gym, Santa Cruz Strength, on February 24th, and I think he wants to tell everyone about it. He's going to have a new event that hasn't been used in a contest, to my knowledge, so far. So I know he's really excited about it. I think there's a chance that some big lifts could be hit, possibly even some records broken. So,
cool.
I think, he just wants to drum up interest, and, if people are interested in taking a trip to Santa Cruz, I'm pretty sure he wants to get them out, because it's going to be a great meet.
Yeah, man, for sure. If people don't know Clay, he was kind of out of the grip scene for a while, but he was in it way back in the day when I first got involved, and he was putting up big numbers, like huge grippers, huge pieces of steel being bent. I mean, he's got a 5/16 grade 5 bolt named after him, the Edgin. So, I mean, this guy's very familiar with grip for years. He just had like a spell of like 2 or 3 years where he didn't do much. So if anybody's new and they haven't heard from him, you want to look around on the internet for Clay Edgin. I mean, he's got articles out there, videos on YouTube, and obviously on social media sites these days. So look him up. So we're going to talk with Clay at some point here in a little bit, and then also we've got a couple other topics that we're going to discuss. Some predictions for this year in 2018. And by the way, Alan and Riccardo just did an excellent show last week on the top 10 feats that took place in 2017, and we're still looking for comments from everyone listening to the show on what you thought were some of the top feats last year. They also covered the LA Fit Expo Grip Challenge, the arm lifting championship that took place out there recently. So that is in episode 39. So if you didn't listen to that yet, make sure to check that out, because that just got uploaded to the channel this week. And then once we cover the predictions, we're also looking at talking about some of our own personal goals that we have for this year. And I'm expecting to see a lot of great things out of these two guys. What else has been going on, guys? Why don't you guys talk about what you've been up to?
Alan, why don't you go first, Alan?
Well, I want to do a quick shout out to Josh Hensey. He posted on the grip board. Sounds like he's picked up some injury. Didn't indicate the severity of it, but it sounds like it's got him down a little bit. It's going to keep him out of the grip game for a short period of time. So just wanted to send out some well wishes, and hope he gets back to it. And looking forward to seeing more horseshoe bending videos out of him. He's a nice guy. He's a strong guy. If there's any bright side to going into an injury, is that the stronger you are going into it, the faster you're going to bounce back from it. So at least he's got that going for him.
Yeah.
So good luck, Josh. I hope we see you back again soon.
I didn't see that. He did wish us good luck for the ice fishing trip to me and my dad this morning, so that was nice. But like you said, Josh is a great guy, dude, and hopefully he gets back in top form here soon.
Yep.
Yeah, I hope James. I don't know Josh too well, but I hope James gets back into shape, and hopefully that there aren't too many lingering injuries. I got into a real bad car accident about 4 years ago myself. I got hit by a late girl, ran a red light going 55 miles an hour, and didn't even brake. And the police report said she was changing her music. She didn't even look up. She just went right through the intersection. I guess she had to get some good jams on there, and boy, I was in a Tahoe. The thing did a 540 into oncoming traffic.
Wow.
And it was brutal. I walked away from the thing, So, I know God was smiling on me then, because I could have been dead. The cops were like frantically looking for the driver, and I'm like, I'm over here. And they were like, oh, usually we drag people out of less than this. I was like, my whole body got like chilled. It was crazy. So, yeah.
Unbelievable. You ever been in a car accident, Alan?
I have, yeah.
Oh,
I can tell you one thing. It's definitely, if you're gonna get smoked by another driver, it's better to get hit in a larger vehicle, not by a larger vehicle, but in a larger vehicle. That's for sure. So, but no, I've never picked up any injuries out of the deal.
That's good. I've had a couple fender benders, but in high school one time, stupid kids. Driving too fast. We were getting chased by some idiots and trying to go up around a corner. We were on our way to play some AC-doocy and ended up fishtailing the truck and flipping over. And, of course, me and this other dude in the front seat, it was just like a bench seat truck, you know what I mean, with 2 seat belts. And there's 3 dudes. So the driver's got his seat belt on, and then me and this other dude are in the front seat, and then as we're going, we loop the seat belt that we didn't have on us around both of us. Sure enough, we have an accident, flip over in a snowy field, and probably skidded on the hood of the truck about, it seemed like 100 yards. It seemed like forever that we were sliding through this field, and then we couldn't get the door open. So I ended up kicking the door open because why? I don't know. I was just panicking, I guess, and somehow came away from that with like a strained rhomboid muscle. That's about it. No injuries in that either. So thank God.
Wow. Yeah. Absolutely.
Some people just aren't as lucky. It's too bad, man.
Right.
That's for sure.
Hey, so Clay's coming on here in a few minutes, you figure, Riccardo, or?
Yeah, 10:15. I told him for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me run, dude. I've got some pretty substantial feats that I don't know if they were covered in last week's show because I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. But they're pretty cool, and I know people were working on these for a while. So I just wanted to run down through them, and we don't really have to discuss them at all. And maybe you guys have actually covered these already, and if so, then I apologize. But these are notes that I took throughout November and December. So, but we haven't done like a feats rundown since then. So I saw that Bob Sundin did 6 5-kilo plates, which I thought was pretty awesome because I've never done that myself. So showing his pinch prowess.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Pat Maisels hit a 16-pound sledge. I know that he's been working on sledges really hard for like the last year. So he smashed that. And then
Jim Clay is here.
Very good. Very good. Clay, hold on one second, dude. I just got to run down a quick list of feats, and then we're going to hit you up, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. My man, Matty Gunny, hit a 24-kilo blob lift. I think it's one of the Silarukov blobs. I didn't take enough notes, though. Phil Kashaba with the inch lift. We may have talked about that. I remember that Nate Browse had a get-together, and Matthew Crane and Steve Nichols, I think are the names, both did blob lifts, double blob lifts. And then Juha Letomaki has hit some gold nail bends. Did you guys cover that last week?
We didn't cover it.
No, maybe, and that might have been 2017 now that I think about it. But this one was a suede wrap bend for the gold nail. And then these are pretty substantial. That's why I pulled them out of there. Josh Dale got into the 100-pound wrist wrench club in December. I recently saw that Ardo pinched 2 25-kilo plates. I mean, these are some pretty substantial feats. So I just want to make sure they got their recognition. Those were the biggest ones, I'd say. So congratulations to all those guys. Some really, really nice lifts that took place there at the end of the year. And with that, now that Mr. Edgin is on the call with us, I'm going to turn it over to you two guys. Let's talk about this Santa Cruz grip challenge that's going on. Can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, man. We this is our second time hosting a grip competition or arm lifting competition in our gym. We're calling it California's Strongest Hands. And I think the first one we did was 4 years ago. Riccardo, you are like the Rain Man of grip stats, so you can tell me because it was your first contest. Was it 2013?
2014, first grip contest ever. Not contest ever, but for sure first grip contest ever. Yeah, it was right around this time of the year, too, mid-January.
Yeah, I told you he's Rain Man with these dates and stuff. He knows everything.
Yeah,
he's a great resource, too. You can ask him, like, hey, what did I lift in 2014 on the hub? And he'll say, well, in these 4 contests, I had these lifts. And it's amazing. Off the top of his head, too. It's incredible. Just test him. Like, on another call him and test him, and he'll do it. It's amazing. So, anyways, so we've got 5 events coming up. We have the Iron Mine Hub. We have the Iron Mine Rolling Thunder, the Silver Bullet, of course. We got the 2-inch Napalm's Nightmare Brother, which I'm excited about.
That's right. That's right.
And we have the, I always forget the 5th event, and it's the
little big one.
Little big, yeah. Every time I tell these events, I'm like, there's 5, and I can remember 4 of them. It's like when you try to recite the 7 dwarfs, you can remember like 5 of the 7 dwarfs. Someone says Dopey and Duck, you're like, oh, of course, Dopey and Duck. It's the same thing. We got Mr. Dr. Randall Strawson throwing in a couple small prize packs for, I think, the overall men's and women's winners. I'm just kind of confirming the details on that. So haven't yet announced them as an official sponsor, but we're talking by electronic mail to get that all lined up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll hit up Uncle Ode to see if I can get some dot fit stuff thrown our way for some competitors as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
I'm excited especially about the Napalm's Nightmare, not because it's like one that I enjoy doing, but because you guys can tell me, I'm not sure it's been in a contest before, has it?
Hasn't been in like a full-scale contest. I've run it one time last September in like a side booth grip challenge that was going on in tandem with an arm wrestling tournament. And we didn't use straight weight because, as you know, I mean, you can pound 400-plus pounds on that with the 2-inch grip. So I didn't want to take all that stuff up there because it was up to Syracuse, New York, which is like a 2.5-hour drive for me. So instead we used the crane scale. So you don't have to mess with any weights. You just attach it to a fixed surface and then pull on it as hard as you can. And then the crane
that's
scale.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, when you put it on hold mode, it'll give you the highest amount of force that was exerted into that gauge. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it works really nice.
Cool.
It's not exactly the same as when you're doing straight weight because, as you know, there's different levels of force that take place when you're pulling something from the ground to lockout.
Sure.
And it can, it'll, but it's consistent. It's consistent, like, as far as, like, you pull as hard as you can, and once you're warmed up, it's going to give you, like, pretty much the same pull every time within a few pounds. So it's pretty cool because you don't need any weights, and you can run a lot of people through there very quickly.
Yeah, that's smart. That's a great way to quantify performances without having to have any kind of weights. It's really fun. I bet you saw some really, really big numbers on that, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let me ask you this, Clay, because I know you guys and Riccardo, you guys have worked on that quite a bit. Would you agree that on that you don't get the same amount of lower back stress as you would, say, like a deadlift?
Oh, totally, because not only are the handles starting quite a bit higher, for me, they're just below knee height, depending on the length carabiner I use, but also it allows me to take a wider, like a sumo-style stance and get my hips right on top of the handle practically and then just squat it straight up. With a wide stance squat like that, I never feel it in my back. I always feel it in my butt and my legs.
Yeah.
So this is a good.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing how much you feel it in your glutes?
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Yeah.
And I've got I have a big flat snow shovel butt, so there's no muscle back there. It's just big for no reason. And so when I lift with this thing, I can feel like the fibers contracting so hard. And my girlfriend, and this is a true story, we're coming back from Women's March, and we're pushing the stroller up a hill, and she slaps me in the butt as I'm pushing the stroller, and she goes, "Damn, babe, you got a firm butt." And I'm like, I'm 360, no one's ever said I got firm anything except for a certain time of the night. PG. And so she said that, and I was like, well, I've been killing this Napalm's Nightmare, often in training. Maybe that's doing it. So thank you, Jedd, for devising the ultimate butt tool for training.
Yeah, man. The heck with those. Who used to pitch like the glute machines on the commercials? That blonde lady?
Oh, that was like Susan Sarandon with the Thigh Master.
Yeah, something like that. Susan Sarandon?
Oh, no, not
Suzanne Summers.
Suzanne Summers, there you go.
Summers,
well, I was coming up with Sally Struthers, and I knew that wasn't the right name. So thank you, Alan.
Sally Struthers is a big advocate for the bulking diet.
Yeah. Hey,
Cool.
Clay, I got a question. So what? Because you and I have used the Napalm's Nightmare, I think, quite a bit. How are you gonna run the event? Because obviously we don't need a scale there at Santa Cruz Strength. You guys have thousands of pounds of weights that are right there, right? So how are you gonna run it? How are we gonna judge what a good lift is on that event?
That's a good question, and that kind of ties back into what I was saying about being excited for the Napalm's Nightmare in the contest, because I was just talking with Lucas Raymond, who is the kind of the more modern fabricator of those things, you know, Jedd and Chris Rice first developed them. And I said, what would constitute, do you think, a good lift? Does it need to be lockout, or does it need to be like a 6-inch pull? I know Barrel Strength System has some things that, you know, it has to be at least clearly a 7.5-inch pull, I think it is. He said that, and maybe, Jedd, you can give me your opinion too, that like a 6-inch pull would be sufficient because the weights are so heavy and the lifters are different heights. You know, a lockout to one person is still a foot to go for another person. I got little girls, sorry, I don't want to say little girls. I have petite women who are strong as hell lifting this thing with close to 300 pounds on it, and they are only pulling it 4 inches off the ground, but their hips are locked through. So, Jedd, do you think a 6-inch pull, regardless of the height of the lifter, would be an appropriate kind of measuring stick for that?
Yeah, I like 6 inches, and I'll tell you why. Well, hold on. Let me reword that. God, that didn't sound right. I like
7's too much. 8 is just outright.
Yeah, too much.
4 you don't no lockout with 4 inches. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, a lot of people will try to tell you that 4 inches is 6 inches, from what I heard. But anyway, I do like the 6-inch pull with a gauge, and 2 reasons. First off, the first contest I ever went to was the Battle for Grip Supremacy that Rick Walker ran, and the lifts on that thing were for 6 inches on the thick bar, and it was really easy to judge because they just held like a ruler up, and if it got as high as the 6-inch mark, it was good. If it didn't, then it didn't count. So that was really easy. So first contest right out of the bat, I was exposed to that, and then. With a gauge, you just don't have to worry about lockout. You don't have to worry about like hitting a sticking point or something like that. Or if someone has like, extremely huge quads, like there's a couple dudes that come here every once in a while that they're like quadzilla, man, straight quadzilla, and you almost have to play hell to get the implement not to hit their leg. So it's just easier to judge a gauge lift versus a lockout lift. So that's why I like the gauge. Yeah. And then they're easy to build. You can pretty much use the gauge where you have something sticking out to hit a crossbar, or you could just literally set up blocks like the 2-inch vertical bar or whatever, any vertical bar lift where you have the 2-inch blocks sitting around. You could just have 6-inch blocks, and if you stand on 6-inch blocks, then all you have to do is make sure that the blocks that you're standing on, the implement, the weights go higher than those blocks. So
yeah, totally. I'd love to see more of those measured distance pulls in existing events like the Rolling Thunder or stuff like that. Because I know for me the Rolling Thunder, I can get my hips through, but I can't get my shoulder back without pushing the handle out of my hand because I got this big mound of table muscle around my midsection that gets in the way of the handle. So I'd like to see, first of all, I'd love to see more promoters kind of taking the lead and dusting off all their grip stuff and opening their basement doors and getting all the local yokels in for some grip contests. And second of all, I'd love to see more variations of these lifts, not just a lockout, but maybe holds for time or maybe for reps, hitting a crossbar. Just get creative with it, and it's going to lead to a lot of interesting discussions on what's harder. He did 100 kilos in the Rolling Thunder for 8 reps against a crossbar or 120 kilo single, and not like the internet needs more arguments, but it's certainly going to provoke a lot of people to think and to experiment with these things for themselves and to try to further the sport a little more that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally like the variation of events, like where you have max lifts, you have reps at a certain weight, and holds. I love the fact that you can automatically do 3 events with 1 implement like that. I love that. Some people don't like it. Some people think it's too much, and there's too many records that you can get and stuff like that. But I don't really care about that. I like the variation. I think at first I was resistant against it, but now I think it's fun because I've done so many holds and things like that. So
yeah, totally. I'm on the same page as you with that. A lot of our people that come into this contest, they're just people from the gym. I've got about 15 or 16 folks signed up already, and I just tell them, hey, we're going to do, last man standing, kind of bars just going to keep getting heavier. Jump in when you can, and you'll fail when you can't. And they don't have to have, when we went to the LA Fit Expo a few weeks ago, I had to sit with each one of my lifters competing and say, okay, here's your opener, here's a possible second attempt, and we'll see how the third looks. For all these 4 lifts, and that kind of cut into my training too. Now we're just going to say, everyone go lift the weight, and it's going to get heavier, and then when you can't do it, stop, which is great for new people.
Pretty much. It is great for new people. It's also great for experienced people because you're not limited to predicting where you think you're going to fail, right? You can take it literally to the max, which I think is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. I think people hit more personal records that way. It's more exciting. And I've got this judge. He's from powerlifting. His name is Keith Emoto. And Keith's been a friend. I mean, Riccardo knows him since the Stone Age when they were lifting with dinosaur rigs and stone rounds.
Pretty much.
But
Pretty much.
Keith is a international level judge in 2 different powerlifting federations. He's like 59 years old. He just squatted 590 on his 59th birthday this last week. And these are like real legit squats, not internet tough guy.
Oh yeah.
Squats.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a real deal.
Weighing 198 or whatever too.
Yeah, whatever it is. So Keith has agreed to come be our referee because he knows what a lockout looks like. He's also really friendly, and I think he's going to be a great kind of link between powerlifting and grip sport and arm lifting in his area too, because the gym he owns has a rolling thunder and they have an axle, but no one really uses it. So I'm hopeful that when he goes back, he'll say, hey guys, as a person of influence, you guys should really try the rolling thunder because I was at this grip contest in Santa Cruz and this happened. I think it's going to be fun for Keith. He was a gamer. He jumped at the chance to be our head judge. And I'll work with him a little bit on what constitutes a good lift. But I think he's going to be a great asset to us. And I think part of one of the ways to get the sport to grow, a lot of times we host it in conjunction with arm wrestling events or strongman events or powerlifting, just getting those people of influence in those communities to try these things. And then they'll immediately see on their own how it can benefit them and their community, and they'll want to introduce it to their people too. So I know, Jedd, you're great at that, and Riccardo knows what it's like to be at all these expos and see Jim Stepani at the concrete booth, with the hub set into the stones. Those are great tools. I hear lots of folks tell me when they hear about grip for the first time, oh, yeah, I was at this Fit Expo, or I was at the Olympia, and I saw this guy in a kilt, and he had one of these things set into a rock, and you had to pick it up, and then you got free creatine. I don't know anything about grip except for that. So any opportunity like that to introduce it to a new crowd is fantastic. And with us, our gym kind of has a little bit of everything in it. We're Olympic weightlifters, powerlifters, strongmen, those who are new to barbell training, those who are training for sports. I've got fencers and high jumpers and got everything. It's like Noah's Ark. I got 1 or 2 of everything under the sun on my belt right now. So, and then I just reach out to them and I say, hey, you need to try this thing. Come over. We're doing grip right now. And they'll try the rolling thunder. And some people surprise us. I had this young lady come in last week. She just signed up for rowing classes with my rowing coach. And she's strong. Like she's just at the bottom of the heavyweight category for strong women. She is like a mid-3 deadlift and like a mid-3 squat. Like it's respectable anywhere you go. But she banged up her back. So she's like, all right, I'm going to get back into cardio. Well, long story short, she tells me that at one point she was training for the Hub World Record, and her best was just missing 50 pounds. I was like, where did you come from? You were 50 pounds on the Hub, just walk into my gym to do some cardio rowing. We're not a cardio gym, by the way. We're squarely a strength training gym that happens to have 4 rowers in the back of the room. So I said, like, you need to come do the California Strongest Hand, and I didn't make it optional for her. I said, I'm going to sign you up, and you show up on this Saturday. Kind of like volunteering people to come do this thing. But then they ended up having a great time because our gym is fun anyways, and Keith is amazing. Riccardo's been a lot of fun when he comes up to the gym to be an ambassador for the sport. So they're kind of getting an idea of, and then they get to see what I do too. Not that I'm such a big deal, but now that some of them have gone to the Fit Expo and seen some of the videos and seen how kind of what Coach Clay's lifts compare to with these big guys like Jedd and Brian Hunsacker and even that wily, skinny guy, Riccardo Magni, they're kind of interested in it.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's awesome.
Well, the people are spoiled, Jedd. The people are spoiled in Clay's gym. They see him slamming these number 4 grippers on Silver Bullet, Shud, and they just think anyone can do that stuff, right? They see him, picking up 400 pounds on an axle, and they just think that everyone can do this stuff. So they're very lucky that Clay is their coach and mentor. And I think after this last Fit Expo and chatting with some of them, they they're starting to figure that out. Like, hey, we're in we're in good hands, so to speak, with Clay running the. I know. I couldn't hands.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's a good fun.
Couldn't resist. But
I couldn't. Yeah. No, I couldn't advertise that. I couldn't put that on a website and be like, "You're in my good hands. Come to my gym." Nobody would come.
Yeah. No.
We don't dare do that. Someone will get offended.
Right.
Yeah. No. But it's good stuff. I'm excited, and so Clay, for the people listening, maybe that are interested in signing up, how are they going to sign up for this contest? Where do they go?
Exactly. That's what I was going to ask.
Thank you. We have a Facebook event page under California Strongest Hands, which will take you to our website, which is Santa Cruz Strength or scstrength.com, and it's under our upcoming events. There's a whole bunch of upcoming events, power meets, and deadlift snatch contests, strongman stuff. And you'll see California Strongest Hands right there at the top of the list. The entry is free. It doesn't cost a single penny to sign up and compete with this contest. We're just asking that you become a member of Armlifting USA at some point before the contest. And it's also going to help kind of grow that sport as well. Mm-hmm. I'm so thankful to get this opportunity to talk to you about this contest, and I hope more promoters kind of come out. I know guys are doing these contests already, but the more, the louder we can be about these things, just like Riccardo said, like, people are going to start to realize that, these things are legit, and they're happening all over the place, and I want to be a part of these things. Mm-hmm. Noticing a recent movement in, like, CrossFit for grip training as well. Mm-hmm. So we can expect to have that kind of demographic looking up. They're probably already buying some of Jedd's ebooks, so those are legit. And you're going to see them coming on the grip boards and everything else, looking for grippers and shit.
Yeah, for sure. I see tons of every single day. See, I follow the Grip Strength hashtag on Instagram, and that's huge too. And lots of those are seem to be CrossFitters, climbers, stuff like that.
They're realizing that they can't have these. They're doing muscle ups and stuff on a bar, and they tear up their hands. One, you got to take care of your hands, of course. We all know that, or else you could blow them out. But two, if they're just a little bit stronger, you can hang on to that pull-up bar easier, and it reduces the friction on your skin, and you tear less often. That's like a free thing you can do that you don't have to wear a piece of equipment or put on and off during a WOD. Just get your hands a little bit stronger, and you can do a whole lot more with that barbell or the pull-up bar.
For sure. Hey, Clay, we're going to talk about some other things here in a second, but before we get totally off the topic, I did want to say congratulations on the success of your gym. I've followed it as it's grown here over the years, so I think it's a great success story, and I hope you continue to have just excellent success out there, bro.
I appreciate that, Jedd. It's been a labor of love. Anybody who runs their own business knows what it's like to be on the clock 24 hours a day and how to balance work and life. And I just had a baby like 6 months ago. Well, I didn't. Looks like I did, but I didn't have a baby 6 months ago. And I'm trying to be a good partner and father and coach and business guy. It's a big challenge, but it's not like a hard job where you're digging ditches all day and somebody else is reaping the benefits. I get to directly be involved with these people's lives and helping them out. And that's so much soul food that the hours don't even matter. And I hope everybody gets an opportunity to do that same kind of thing at least once in their life.
Cool, man. Was there anything else you wanted to say about the contest? Or, Alan, did you have any questions, bro?
Just a statement to Clay. I once read one of his articles, and I think you've got a really unique writing style that grabs people. It was about thumb strength in particular. And I used to have it bookmarked on my phone so I could refer back to it once in a while. I think it must have been taken down at one point because I wasn't able to find it anymore. But it was one of the more – it was just a very interesting article and well written and just something I kind of wanted to read over and over again, almost like a really good book, if you will. So,
oh, wow. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, guys, I'll leave you to it. I, again, appreciate the opportunity to be on the podcast today and to get out the word about California Strongest Hand. I know I'll see, Alan, we've got to meet in person, but I know I'll see Jedd and Riccardo 1,000 more times this year, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
All right, Clay. Good stuff.
Hey, take care, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Clay.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
All right, cool. So as we talked about, we were going to go over some predictions, and I think we prepared like 3 predictions for this year. and didn't really give any other guidelines as far as what those predictions would be. So it's going to be interesting hearing what everybody's thoughts are. So is anybody really geared up to start this thing off, this discussion?
Sure. I'm always geared up.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, so maybe you want to go round robin, each of us give a prediction, because when I thought it was interesting when Alan and I went back and forth last week with the top 10.
That was good.
Because we did duplicate in different in some of the events. You know, Alan and I definitely were on the same page. Maybe didn't rank them the same, but we definitely knew we knew some strong stuff when we saw it. Don't you think, Alan?
Yeah, yep, for sure.
All right. Cool. Now, that was episode 39, everybody. So go back and listen to that one. I still need to, and I've got some driving I think that I've got to do this week. So that's my plan, to listen to that while I'm in the car. So sweet.
All right. Well, here's my first prediction. My first prediction is that for the people who don't know who Jesse Pignonian is from Finland, they'll know about him by the end of the year. This was his first year in grip sport. The guy is hitting some massive events in training. He's a young guy. He's about 6'5.5", 286. And, this year, in his first year in grip sport, he won the Sawa Open. He won the U.S. It's called U.S., but it's not United States. U.S. stands for United Strongman World Championships. It's one of the European World Championships. It's not the APL, the Russian one that I went to last year, but it's the other, quote-unquote, European World Championships. No non-Europeans were there, but they still call it World Championships. Anyway, he won both of those meets under drug-tested conditions, and that's in his first year of training for grip sport. The guy is, I would not be surprised to see him break any number of records and put up some feats that are absolutely insane. And one of the reasons why, you guys, he gets to train, and he's smart. He trains with all different guys in Finland. So he trains all those top European guys. He drives around, and he trains with all of them. He trains with Arto. He trains with Joni Mahanen, Harri Tolonen, Tommy Tuomi. He trains with all these guys. And as I've discovered, Finland is not as small as you think it might be. There's a lot of driving in that country. So that's my first prediction. People who don't know this guy, you'll know him by the end of 2018.
Cool. That's very good. I agree, for sure. Why don't we go east and hit up Alan?
Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll see the return of Adam Glass to competition. This is something I've looked forward to for a while. He's hinted at it. You see some of the Rolling Thunder numbers, some of the things we're seeing him pulling on Instagram. And he's been kind of leading up to it for a while. And at the very least, I hope we see him come back. But I think we'll see him come back this year.
That's very interesting.
Alan, can I ask you a question about that, Alan? Did he state in particular that he has a contest on the horizon that he's competing in, or you just think he's kind of hinted at it?
He's hinted at it more or less. In the past, it wasn't. I don't know that it was last year so much, but I think it was the year before. But he was. I think this was when there was some discussion of perhaps a return of Mighty Mitts. But he had something. I don't know if it was a hashtag, but it said something like Haidyo Records, and it sounded like he had indicated coming back. And I thought he had mentioned specifically coming in at, I think, if he was looking to knock out a bunch of records in 83K and then 93K as well, or if it was 93K and then 105. I can't remember. But he mentioned kind of hitting a couple of weight classes. Sounded like banging out some things in one and then moving up to the next. And so he's like I said, through the years, the last couple of years, he's kind of been hinting at it more and more. And if you watch the guy, you can tell he's definitely put on some beef. And, it's no joke when the guy's repping for like minutes straight, over 100 pounds on the Rolling Thunder, or over 200 pounds on the Rolling Thunder, just back and forth. So, yeah, I mean, his strength is definitely there. So.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, and he just has, I've never met him, I don't know. I know he's, a grip legend, and he's got obviously some fantastic feats that he does, but a lot of his lifts, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not saying they're supposed to be, but they don't appear to be ones that would pass in a contest. A lot of partial range of motion he trains, and maybe that's what works for him. But some of the stuff that I see, I've been the head judge now for the Rolling Thunder World Championships, And the standard that we held athletes to here just 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure that his lifts that I see on the computer would pass. And that's not a criticism of him. It's just a commentary that a lot of partial stuff. So he's supremely strong.
I agree with you completely there, Riccardo. Actually, I detected a little bit of that too, and even perhaps just a smidgen of tilt. But one way or the other, I couldn't do what he's doing, tilt or not, or even partial. So yeah, it's solid stuff.
No, I agree. I've seen him do, over 200 for many reps, but they are partial reps. And I'm not saying I could do it if I tried, because I'm sure I couldn't. The man is clearly very, very strong. But I prefer to prepare for the contest, and I try to train the way it is in the contest. If I know it's a 6-inch lift, I'll practice that. If it's a lockout, I practice that. And I'm just saying, having been on both sides of the coin as a referee and as an athlete at some fairly big contests, the stuff I see from him, I don't think I would pass it there. Now, that doesn't mean he can't do it. It just means he doesn't show us what it is on the internet, right? It's just a snapshot of what he's doing, I'm sure.
Right. Yep.
It just is curious to me that he does not seem to lock out very many of the actual lifts that he does. But he's very strong. Jedd, what's your comment on that? Have you seen any of his lifts?
I've seen some of his lifts. I'm not sure I noticed the lack of lockout didn't really jump at me. I didn't look at it as like an OSHA inspector. But the thing that I noticed is he's kind of haphazard with how he puts his hand onto the implement. So it almost looks like sometimes maybe his pinky pad, like the hypothenar eminence, is almost off the handle. So it totally kills the rotation. However, I think in the last video I saw, he was up around 250 pounds. So because he's working with volume, he may not be concerned about that because he may be just trying to overload his hands. And also, I'll say from over the times that I've checked in and watched him, his weights are still going up. So, there's some technical things there that need to be addressed, but I think in a competition he would, obviously there's going to be a judge there that's going to enforce the rules, and he'll have to just tighten those up. And he's very, very strong. He's not a huge dude, but like Alan said, he's put on some size, and I think he must be doing a lot more than just his bar work that he was doing for like maybe 2 years. So some of the other stuff that he does, must be allowing him to put on some mass. So he's got potential to be very, very good at grip. He always has, ever since he got out of the service. So it's going to be interesting. I haven't seen anything where he's made any statements about returning to grip competition anytime soon or anytime lately, but I know that Alan follows him a little bit closer than I do, just because I haven't been able to barely follow anybody in the last 6 months. So if he decides to do it, then he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I know that he was supposed to go to South Jersey 4, and then I don't know what happened. He wasn't there. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, again, and again, this is not a criticism of him at all, just commentary from just judging. I had to tell people several times, hands off the metal, on the Rolling Thunder. If you have your hand on that, even if it's the fat part of your palm, you know how when your palm kind of presses up against any handle device, it kind of flattens out and gets fatter. Yeah. Even if that part touches the metal, you're going to slow the rotation down at some level. Right. There's no question. I've seen guys attempt to put chalk in that Rolling Thunder to wedge the thing up so that it doesn't spin.
How do people come up with that stuff, man? What is...
I'm just telling you what I see as a referee. Yeah. So I've heard of, and never at one of our contests, but at other training, I've heard of people actually even taking one of the thin paper clips and undoing it and sticking it in the Rolling Thunder handle so it won't rotate anymore, and then they pull a massive lift on the internet.
Wow.
Heard of that happening. So, people will do anything, and especially like we had money on the line, $1,000 in prize money for the Rolling Thunder World Championships. People will do anything for money, and if the referee lets them, their hands on the metal, I guess it was the lift, and I was vigilant to the point of where it affected my own contest. I expended so much energy because I didn't want to be the guy who's sitting there as head ref approving some BS lift.
Yeah.
And
well, I commend you for that too, Riccardo, because far too often from many contests, I see absolute blatant tilting of the gripper on the silver bullet hold, which
I've seen in person too. Yeah.
Absolutely magnifies your holding power with the silver bullet by at least a factor of probably 25 to 33% if you have it tilted 15 degrees.
Well, if you have it tilted, right, it creates a little wedge, and the bullet is going to drop. It's much less likely to drop out.
Mm-hmm.
You can even open your hands a tiny bit, and the thing is going to wedge in just because it's tilted. I saw it myself when I went to Russia big time last year. Whatever. But back to the Rolling Thunder. The other one that is clearly not allowed in the rules, and we said it before in the rules briefing, is the offhand cannot be pressing into your thigh, right? The offhand has to be away from the body, whether you dangle it down like it's deadlifting something else or you stick it out to the side or whatever. And I had to deny someone's lift at 242 after I already warned them, and 242 is obviously a world-class Rolling Thunder. I had to deny someone the lift there, and I had to make him retake it because he distinctly had his left hand digging into his quad there to get more leverage, and that was specifically prohibited. He came back and made it anyway, but that is, and I don't have any problem doing that. I have refereed for Ode, some of his strongman contests where you've had all these world's strongest man guys competing. I mean, I've given Brian Shaw a red light before, Mariusz Pudzianowski a red light before, so it's not that I don't, I'm not afraid of that. They're afraid of the aftermath. But it is what it is, and if you're going to do it, you got to do it right, and that's just my only commentary there, but we can move on.
Yep, cool. Well, I'm going to keep this thread going with just targeting certain individuals, and I'm going to say that Tanner Merkel is going to have another super impressive year. I think he has a tremendous chance at winning the NAGS championships, nationals, again this year if he decides to come. And, I mean, to see his grippers exploding like they are, I wouldn't doubt if he ends up even reaching up to Mash Monster 3 or 4 status this year if he were to get interested in that. So I think potentially Tanner Merkel could have one of the biggest years ever in grip sport in 2018.
Yeah, well, that's no shock. The kid's got big hands, super strong from all the rock climbing, and he trains hard, super hard, and he's got all the ingredients. He's got. I'm bummed that I didn't get to meet him this year at the King Kong when I got hurt, but yeah, he's a superstar. You can't even call him a future star because he's already a star, but his potential is off the chart. Agreed.
He started as a star. He started out. Yep.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, no question on that.
Yeah, he was on my prediction list as well. Yeah.
We'll take that, Alan, because you always steal my stuff, so I just stole yours. Neener.
No, and seeing his grippers take off, you see what he just did at Southern Squeeze with that 182. That's some solid stuff. So
yeah, he obliterated that.
Yep, definitely on the rise. I think it's just at this point, if anything, it's his pinch that just needs to come up, and there's no reason to think that it wouldn't. So, real strong all around.
I think pinch is a little finicky. I mean, Jedd's the pinch master of the three of us here. I think it's a little finicky, and I think that's something that definitely develops over time.
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't see a lot of people like walking in doing 100 kilos on a Euro. Even strong bastards, start out under 200 pounds. So that's a good point. Between finicky and being so specialized.
How old is Tanner? 25? 23? How old is he?
Forgot.
Yeah, so I mean, that pinch is I agree, Alan. Relative to his other stuff, his rolling handles and his grippers is a little bit down. But I still think he's done, 90 something on the flask in the mid 90s, 97, 98 maybe. So, I mean, he's not exactly a scrub at pinching, but yeah, he's not at the top of the charts yet. Yeah,
he's bringing that He's bringing that one-hand pinch up for sure.
It's coming up. Yeah, yep, for sure. He was just like 44K or something like that. That's Southern Squeeze, I think.
How much was it, Alan? I didn't catch it. You cut out for a second.
44 kilos, I think is what he settled at.
Okay, so right under 100 pounds then. Yeah.
Yep. So it's a great number one way or the other.
Yeah. No, I mean, but yeah, I think elite in that is now 110 plus. I think is the elite on that one-hand flask number. So Gil hasn't updated those record boards in a while, but I think elite is 110. So he's quote unquote only in the high 90s. I mean, like he's just got a little bit of practice to do before he's elite in that also.
Right.
And then before Riccardo goes with his second one, I just want to remind everybody, please go ahead and like this video here on YouTube. It'll help us out tremendously. Thank you. Hit the like button.
All right, so next prediction, next year at the LA Fit Expo, Carl Meyerskow will win the Rolling Thunder World Championships. That's the next one right there. So he tied Alexei this year, and my prediction is he wins it next year. So, I hope everyone shows up. You know what I'm saying? All the strong men, all these world's strongest man guys, they'll bring their A game because I think Carl's going to beat them all next year. He's very determined.
Well, he's sure got the tools.
Yeah.
He might as well go for a four cert while he's at it. Doing what he did this past year. So
that's next. Yeah, he's definitely going to attempt that. He's working on it already.
Good for him. He'd be in rare air there, as they say. So
yeah,
he's already in rare air with the 3.5 certification. 14 people have done that only. So
yep.
I mean that's a very small group of people, given how long that Ironmine's had these grippers out, and only 14 people can do it. The difference, the step up from the 3 to the 3.5 is beyond massive. It's huge.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, we saw Tanner smash a 3.5 shut, but that was with a much closer set, right? This thing was the credit card. It's a big difference.
Oh, was Tanner working the credit card set angle, or was that just a parallel set?
No. I'm saying Carl did it with, Tanner did the 182 3.5.
Oh, sure.
But that was with a much narrower set. And he, obliterated it. With the wider set, it's a different gripper. Closing the gripper is a much different animal with the wider set. Is what I'm saying.
No doubt. Well.
Yeah. No, Carl's for real. He's very serious. I mean, the man was in the Olympics for shot put. He's very serious and very goal oriented. And when he latches his mind onto a goal, he will do it. And I have no doubt that he will close the 4 under official conditions. It may take a year or two. It took him a year to go from the 3 to the 3.5, and he absolutely obliterated it. On the video, you can hear the clink of the handles. I mean, I saw it there live, and I was like, oh, my gosh, it was easier than I thought. So, he'll do the 4, just so long he continues to do his thing. He'll be fine. He'll do it. Might take a year or two, but he'll do it. He'll get there.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. But the cool thing when you go to these contests and seeing the head-to-head of all these big-name guys,
dude, that's got to be amazing.
It's awesome. Who's going to win head-to-head? Jump in, see what you got, and that it's there's a lot of strategy, a lot of jockeying for position, a lot of alpha male testosterone brewing, and at the end of the day, like I said, this year we had 3 guys tie at 259 on Rolling Thunder, and body weight separated the top 3. I mean, that's a heck of a competition right there. Top 3 guys tying. So, yeah, pretty impressive.
Sweet.
All right, Alan, your prediction.
Okay, here it comes. So, February 24th at Nate Browse's competition. He's got a bunch of Ironmine events going to be there, right? We've got I believe there's Ironmine Little Bighorn, there's the Hub and the Blockbuster Pinch, and then of course our very own John McCarter is showing up at this competition, and this guy has knocked on the door of arguably he could have been the Ironmine Hub world record holder at one point. So I think we could see a new world record February 24th in either the hub or blockbuster pinch or both events.
From Riccardo or from someone else?
From John McCarter.
Well, let's bring it. Let's see it.
That'll be very interesting. I'm hoping to have availability to go to that competition. I don't have plans at all to train any of those events, especially the hub, but I hope to be there to just witness it, seeing how it's so close, and I might just throw my hat in the ring, just because I don't like standing around at competitions. But it's going to depend, because I'm going to go to Dubai again in February, so it's going to be a busy month. But
how far of a drive is that for you, Jedd? How far of a drive?
To Dubai? No, I have to fly.
No, to Jersey. Yeah, Jersey, bro.
I want to say 3.5 hours, maybe 4. Depends on how many times I have to go tinkle.
Yeah.
But it's not very far. That's a nice, comfortable drive. It's so short that I could even probably do the trick where you drive down in the morning, compete, and drive back at night and not have too bad of a day the next day.
That would be nice.
Yep. Well, that was a good one, Alan. I like where you came from on that one. I'm going to vary away from competition now, and I'm going to say that sometime in the next year, I think we will see Joel Dirks perform a double old school York 45 plate pinch. And the reason I say that is because the dude is, number one, an absolute monster with incredibly strong hands. I know you can back me up on that, Alan, having bared witness to the guy in person at your house.
Yep.
Plus, he has posted some videos of extremely wide 45-pound plates that he has pinched already with what I'm going to say is probably some of the least
technique.
Yeah, least impressive technique that I ever saw. I mean, very, very raw. So you're talking pinch horsepower that is off the charts.
Yeah, so he's a brute.
What's that?
No, he's a brute. I mean, I've even told him on messages, hey, bro, if you practice your technique a little bit, even on his one-handed rolling thunder lifts that he posts, I was like, dude, if you dive out in a little more, your numbers just go increase rapidly. So, I think he's aware of it. He trains grip seriously, along with his other, strength pursuits, and he's a badass. He's a strong dude.
I was gonna say the same thing. If he actually put a legit effort towards grip, it's just kind of a secondary thing towards him or to him. If he actually put some real time into it, he just kill it, no doubt about it. But he's got other pursuits. He's working on other things. I definitely get that. But
right. And the other thing is he's got to have 2 sets placed in front of him in order to lift. But if he were to plan a trip to, for instance, Summer Strong at the Sorinex facility, then he would have his choice of multiple pairs. So, and I think he's got it in him to reach that feat pretty easily. Yeah. Nothing that guy does surprises me. He's an ox. The guy's as strong as an ox right there. And so it wouldn't surprise me. So cool. All right. My third prediction. You guys ready? So my prediction is this, Alan. This is a similar one to yours, but different. So my prediction is that at the Salwa Open that I'm going to in Finland in June, there will be more than one world record broken. So I think this is going to be. This competition has the potential to be one of the deepest fields of high-level grip ever. I think that all the people going to this right now on these implements I think it's going to be just insane. I mean, I could wind up setting PRs and everything and get 6th or 7th place, or I could do better. We'll have to see. But it's insane, the level of last year's. And then, I think there's more people coming to this one to up the ante this year. So I'm going to predict more than one Iron Mind record gets broken under strict drug-tested conditions at that contest.
Nice. So, and what events are going to be at that again, Riccardo?
All right. So the first one is there's 5 events. The first one is a non-Iron Mind event. It's a 60 millimeter or 2 3/8 inch axle deadlift that has to be conventional. No sumo allowed. So that's the first event. Yeah, that bigger axle is no joke. I've already been working on it. It's no joke. Second event is hub, Ironmind hub. Third event is block, Ironmind Blockbuster Pinch Block. Fourth event is Little Bighorn, Ironmind Anvil. And fifth event is number 3 Silver Bullet. Not number 4, not 3.5, number 3.
Nice.
So that is the 5 events. Last man standing. There's just 2 weight classes, under 93K, the 205, and then over 205. So obviously I'll be in the, even though I'm skinny now, I'll be in the heavier weight class. And
you're not going to suck down to 205, bro?
I think at my height that's too much, especially with traveling. And you don't know, the last couple of days, you don't know what food you're going to eat. It's a foreign country. No. And I was 218.7 this morning. I mean, I'm thin right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
looking lean, bro. Looking like calendar material.
Well, thanks, Jedd. Yeah, that might be a disturbing calendar. That and Clay's discussion of his buttocks earlier. I mean, I don't think that's what our viewers want to see. But anyway, that is, yeah. I mean, I'm in good shape right now. But I am skinny, and 13 more pounds. I don't honestly know where it's going to come from. I mean, I'm not interested in doing that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the people who've already committed are me, Thomas Larson, Brian Hunsacker. That's 3 non-Finns. Arto from Finland, Jesse Pignonian, Harry Talonen, Joni Mahanen, and Tommy Tuomi, I think. Those are some heavy hitters right there, for sure. And I'm sure there's
definitely names we've heard of before.
Yeah. So there's other Finns, I'm sure, that I don't know them, who are competing as well. But the guys that I've been communicating with, which is all of those guys, I communicate with all 5 of those guys regularly. They're all gearing up already. They're Finnish nationals in February, and then after that, this is what they're all going to be. Some of them are going to go to APL Worlds in early May in Russia, and the rest are going to practice for this one in June at Joni Mahan's place. So, yeah, I mean, it's like going into the Lions Den here. But there's going to be some massive numbers lifted, massive. So.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just the crowd. I'm sure more people will sign up, but just the crowd you spoke of sounds like a who's who.
Yeah, I mean, and I think they're actively trying to get more of the top Europeans. None of the Russians have decided to commit to this. You have to sign a drug testing thing 3 months before. So it's too bad because Russia's right next door to Finland, because there were some very impressive lifters at the APL World Championships, but so far none of them have signed up yet.
Well, you can take that how you like. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Well, it's expensive. I mean, it's expensive to travel, of course. It's not free. But, I want to go where the best people are competing. And that's why I want to go to this one. I want to jump in against these guys, even if I get my butt handed to me. But I think I'll be prepared. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you the best for sure.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm sure we'll hear about it in the future, my future trading as we continue throughout the spring here.
Yeah.
But Alan, what do you got?
Mine was taken by Jedd with his Tanner Merkel prediction. So I agreed with him, and yep, no denying the talent.
No, he's a monster. No.
And then I kind of saved like a pretty weak one for my third one, to be honest with you. But it was the first thing that popped in my head, and that was that Brian Shaw is going to lift a half 150 legacy and then name it and make it look really, really easy.
Another monster, different size monsters than Tanner, but yeah, you were obviously, Jedd, last week. Alan and I talked about this. That was my pick for the feat of the year, was Brian Shaw's blob lift. And the reason is I think he's brought so much notoriety and publicity to the sport of grip, even as an adjunct and offshoot for him. I'm delighted for the fact that he's done that. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's something along those lines. Grip. The nice thing about grip is it's an easy challenge to throw out there. I saw just recently there's been 2 other grip challenges that have been put out. The Ultimate Fat Grips Challenge from Marco Boll and his group over there. And then also Joe DeFranco just put up another Fat Grips Challenge. and I think.
Oh, what was it?
That one's different. So I think what it is 225 pinch for time, or no, it was how many times you can go around the world on 225s. So you put like 225s together and you put a mark on them where you're starting, and then you have to go around them doing the around the world drill as many times as possible. And then whoever gets the most gets a set of his like personalized fat grips, because he has ones that say DeFranco on them. So
oh wow!
I got tagged on like a half dozen of those over the last week. So, I mean, and that's a fun drill, you know. And most people will be able to do 225s. Not everyone, but most people will be able to do that and throw their hat in the ring and have a good time doing it.
Yeah, and obviously plates are accessible, right? It's not like people don't have the plates, that's for sure.
Yep, yep, for sure.
When you're talking around the world, you're saying, you know, he's putting a mark on them. So I'm imagining we're talking about rotating them like clockwise or counterclockwise, right?
Yeah,
not passing them around the body.
Yes, not the hula, not around the body. That's how I differentiate those. Like some people call around the world when you pass it around your body, but I call that a hula.
Right. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Can you imagine, guys? I mean, the three of us and in Clay too. I imagine the guys that have been on this phone call today wouldn't have any problem doing around the worlds with 25s. Can you imagine the forearm pump you would have? I mean, you could just go for days on that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've done that drill on like a couple workouts at the Grip Authority with 245s. One of them I had gloves on, and the other one I had a chain through that thing, and it was like murder, forearm murder. The pump is so bad.
Yeah, wow. I mean, you would have trouble like taking care of yourself on a personal level after a workout like that. It would just be just terrible.
You might slide a little.
Yeah, gosh, amazing. Huh. Well, cool. Cool challenges nonetheless. I mean, it's definitely something that just about everybody should be able to participate in. So neat.
Cool. Yeah, good stuff.
So did we get everybody on the predictions?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
So is it time for goals? Do we still have time to run through those?
I think we have time. I'm in.
Cool. All right. So the question that I threw out there to everybody, just as a cool little topic, was what are some of the goals that you're working on? 3 main goals that you have for yourself for this year, and they could be anything. I didn't even necessarily say that they were grip goals. My 3 are grip goals, but they could be competition, they could be feats, you know, they could be, you know, endurance, whatever. So who wants to start on this one?
I'll start.
Okay.
So one of the goals is, and I put it on my little Instagram thing the other day, and Jedd, you may or may not have seen it because you've been busy with other stuff cooking, but so I want to certify in the number 3 this year. I'm already pretty close. I might even do it at Clay's contest if I so that's a goal of mine, is for sure certifying the number 3. So I've already closed on credit card set a 135-pound 2.5. That was very easy. So, I think with some dedicated training, I might even be there in a month. Maybe not. Might take a few months, but for sure by the end of this year, I would like to do it.
That's a good goal to have. That's something that I would like to do sometime when I put the time into it. I haven't worked on it in a long time, though, so I commend you there and wish you good luck, especially when you're going to have an opportunity here in about a month's time.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do 3 contests in the next 6 months, right? I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to do the Philly Fit Expo at the end of April, and then obviously I'm going to go to Finland. So I'm not going to kill myself if I'm not ready to certify at Clay's. I could do it at one of the other 2. Yeah. So there'll be no shortage of judges at any of these contests. It would be nice to do it at Clay's, though. It was the place where I had my first grip contest. Clay's my friend, and I respect him. He's very, very strong. So it would be nice to kind of do it there. But if I'm not ready yet, I'm not going to, have a meltdown. So.
All right. Cool. Alan, what about you? What's one of your goals, big boy?
I still want to lift the baby inch. I've never done that. It's been a while since I've actually attempted it. I think I'm probably reasonably close to getting there, but that has been one of my long-term goals and one that's still on my list.
Mm-hmm. How many kilos, Alan? What size?
It's 135-pound baby.
135. So It's like 61 kilos or something, yeah. Cool.
So
cool. Is it the same handle size, Alan? Same diameter?
It is, yes. Yep, it's a 2 3/8 inch handle. Yep. This one is it's made by Jason Adamski. He's also the one that made my full size inch as well. So same maker, same everything. So. But all I've ever done is just get those little bitty elusive hops off the ground like the full size inch seems to do to the really strong guys at first. So
yeah.
But
cool.
So that's my plan.
I know you've been going after that for a while, Alan. So
I wanted it, and I've gotten sidetracked with some other things, but they haven't necessarily been complete derailers. No, I've always been working with like either the Rolling Thunder or the 2.5 inch crusher. So the style of it is certainly been there. I just haven't been putting the dumbbell in my hand, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Cool. Well,
I think it sounds like that's right in you're about ready there. What's your best on the 2.5 inch crusher, Alan?
As a matter of fact, 135 is what I've done on the 2.5 inch crusher. That's my best.
Well, hey, I'm gonna throw something out there that you may want to try, and that's doing the 2.5 inch crusher, but stand on some blocks and get a longer pull, because I think it's one thing to pull it, the 6 or 8 inches or whatever, but it's another thing. Obviously, the dumbbell, you got to pick that thing up a couple feet, right? So try doing some of your crushers standing on blocks or plates or something, so that you get a little bit that hand used to a little bit longer range of motion.
Yeah. Yep. No, I'll definitely do that. And I've used the shorter loading pin, and Jedd's given me a lot of similar advice to what you just mentioned too. Even put together a program for me. So I've definitely got some ideas. It's just a matter of making it all come together finally. But I appreciate any insight out there. So
can't wait to see it. That's fantastic.
Yep.
And then branching off that, I just put a post up this past week about this, but my primary goal this year is to clean the inch dumbbell. This is something. I first got the inch dumbbell in 2004. I trained for it with a homemade loadable handle a long time before that. I want to say it took me 2 months to lift it. That was 2004. It may have been 2003 when I first bought it. It doesn't really matter. The point is, I've been working on this thing for close to 15 years. And I was pretty close to cleaning it in 2015 when Yuha made a statement that he wanted to clean it, and that kind of motivated me. And then 2 years went by, and I didn't do too much with that. But lately, with my right ring finger injury, I've really primarily only been able to do like thick bar training and really wide block weights. So I think I'm on kind of a kick right now with some pretty substantial momentum in that direction, and I'm definitely pulling it higher than I ever have in a high pull type of lift. And I think if I can get maybe 5 more pounds, maybe 10 more pounds of strength in my hand, and then get used to getting under it a little bit in the catch, I think I'll be able to clean the inch this year. Whether or not I would be able to clean it and then push press it anymore, I don't know, because I just don't have the sheer brute body strength that I used to have when I was younger, back in like 04, maybe 06 or something like that. I continentaled it with one hand and then I continentaled it with my left and then passed it over to my right and push pressed it, or maybe like a push jerk type of lift overhead. I don't even know if I'd be able to do that phase of the lift anymore because I'm just not as strong. But I've listed this as a goal since at least 2015, if not before, and never really put any focus on it at all. And I'm just tired of the years passing by that I haven't done it. So I'm kind of filing it right now how I filed the old school York double pinch last year, and that's kind of how I'm attacking it. So that's like number one priority in my training right now.
Well, I'll be honest, Jedd, when I saw that video, that one pull with the left hand, that you pulled out high enough to clean it. You just gotta. If I were you, I would work on with a lighter inch. Work on actually the technique of cleaning it, probably something like 120 or something that you could just do it in your sleep, but practice that motion of the catching and the cleaning. I think you can already pull the thing high enough. I don't know, and I don't want this to be critical. I don't know what your technique is as far as doing a dumbbell clean like that with a thick handle, because I've never seen you do it. But I would supplement your high pulls that you're doing now with that, and I wouldn't even be surprised in a month if you clean the thing. Yeah, that left hand one, that one pull was definitely high enough to clean, for sure.
I agree. And I think it is possible to do with the high pull technique, which was in that video. High pull meaning like as if I was doing a barbell high pull for Olympic lifting. The turnover, excuse me, turning the inch over and catching it is somewhat precarious when you do an overhand lift of that nature, and I haven't really figured out how to get it moving in that direction. Whereas with a hammer grip, where, you know, if you can imagine like a more neutral grip with the inch, it automatically flips over like that. So you almost don't even have to do much as far as an exertion in order to get it to turn. So as far as an efficiency, it's much more efficient in that regard. Even though I'm stronger at the high pull, that stinking turnover phase is what's tough. Plus the fact that I have to get under the thing, which is kind of scary for me, to be honest with you.
I wonder if a guy could almost do a paradoxical deload type of thing on that to help with that tail end.
Well, that's a fantastic idea. That's a fantastic. The one thing about that is I would need to talk to somebody about getting some of those magnets, because I cannot find magnets that are tough enough to stay attached where I want them to on the inch with those speed pulls. Like the plate mates won't do it, and the Gauss Boys magnets that I have won't hold plates. And then I got some from a scrapyard, and they're really, really weak, and they shift once I go into that speed work. But you're making a really good point, Alan, with that for sure. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I think it's dangerous to I wouldn't lift the magnets on a dumbbell that you're trying to clean. It can fly off and hit you in the eye or something. I would just work with, do you have any thick-handled dumbbells that are lighter than 172 pounds?
Yeah, I do actually, and I use those. The problem is they're the death grip bells that are made out of the chunks of steel. I forget what you call them, billets or something like that. And they're extremely sharp, and they dig into my forearm. So I need to grind those down, and I haven't yet. So that's my that's the excuse I'm using right now. But honestly, dude, I think with some of the other training methods that I'm using right now, I mean, I've had an explosion in my inch performance recently from this just one tool that I've been using. So I think just by doing that and getting used to the technique, I'll be able to do it. So, I mean, I'm kind of pumped about it right now. Like, I was going to take today off, and I almost want to go down there just to work on that movement. So
good. Well, yeah. I know this from, I competed in track and field for 15 years, and I've done a lot of power cleans in my life, a lot of power cleans. And I can tell you that doing a high pull and doing a clean are two different things. And if you aren't good at, especially because you can't have the dumbbell touch your leg, right? You don't want that. But you could already knee it up with your leg right now. There's no question. So
like a continental with the knee, with the leg assistance. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so doing for lack of a better term, a clean, where it doesn't touch your body and you just pretty much deadlift / upright row and pulling it up to the point of where then you turn it over. Just my opinion, if you don't practice that with a smaller dumbbell and get the timing, it's all about timing. If you don't get the timing down, and you can get stronger and you can load up that 172 and pull 190. That's one way to do it. Pull heavier, higher, so the lighter one feels lighter. And I think you're strong enough to do it right now if you have the timing right. And I think by practicing with the lighter dumbbell, you get that turnover. Because I can tell you from cleaning even an axle, that does beat up your wrists a little bit. And if your wrists aren't ready to take that force as the thing turns over, you'll clean it and turn it over, and the dumbbell's just going to keep going behind you.
Yeah, I've been there before too. I almost gave myself a heart punch one time with when the dumbbell. It was one of those things where everything was perfect, like the moisture on the bell, the chalking, the placement, everything was perfect, and it shot up so fast, and it just. I don't know if it almost hit my face, my throat, or what, but it hurt my chest so bad. I honestly don't know if I continued the workout. It hurt so bad.
Well, Yeah, so whatever. Just my thoughts. Practice some technique along with the poles, and you'd be golden.
Thanks, Riccardo. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm ready for prediction 2 for myself, and that's I want to pull in a competition over my body weight on Rolling Thunder. Now that I'm skinny, my thick handle, the deadlift continues to increase even though I've lost weight. My wrists are getting stronger. So, yeah, I want to lift, in other words, over 100 kilos, weighing 100, whatever it is, over body weight in a contest on Rolling Thunder. I think not many people can do that, and I want to be one of the people who can. I know Eric can. Eric does it every contest, and he does it, makes it look easy.
Yep.
You know, that's how strong he is at thick bar. He's very, very, very strong. But Andrew Derniak can do it, right, anytime he wants. I'm sure he can be cross-country skiing, and you give him a Rolling Thunder with 230 or whatever. I'm sure he can do it in the snow, you know, but not many people can. So I want to be able to do that. That's a short group of people. Who else can do that? That can lift over their body weight on Rolling Thunder?
Well, I'm sure Adam Glass could.
Yeah, I'm sure he could too, yes. Okay, good call. Who else? That's 200 pounds, at least 200 pounds.
Dude, you're putting my memory on the spot.
Alan, jump in.
Well, Tanner Merkel is mine. He does it on the 2.5-inch crusher. So
yeah, I'm sure he could do it. Yeah, that's true.
Probably, I guess I'd say, I don't know, maybe Phil Kashaba, maybe
Gil.
Oh yeah, I would put
Gil
out there.
Rolling. How much did Gil didn't compete in his own contest, huh? He didn't compete in the Southern Squeeze.
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw the results. He didn't compete, so we don't have a.
Can Cody do it?
What's that?
Cody Burns.
The guy, he doesn't even weigh 200 pounds, though, does he? He looks kind of real small.
Oh, I thought we were talking about just pulling body weight.
Okay,
that's what I thought.
I said over 200 pounds, but I'm sure the Kashaba guy, that dude is a strong dude. I'm sure he could do it, whatever he weighs. Yeah. I don't know how big he is.
What about Cody Burns?
Probably
think he could do it. Bob Sundin, maybe?
Yeah, how heavy is he? I don't know. I know he's very good at crusher. I've never seen him do Rolling Thunder, but yeah, I'm sure he probably would be a candidate too. Either way, it's a short list of people that could do it.
Yes, sir.
So, So yeah, I want to get on that, and I think there's no reason why I can't do that right now. I had some real good lifting on Thursday on the 3-inch crusher. My wrist is getting stronger every workout, so it's possible. Very possible.
Cool, buddy. Good. Well, good luck with that too. That's another exciting mark.
Yeah. Alan, you're up, dude.
All right. So I actually want to be lifting the blob for reps. I want that to be my working type of block weight. I've never done that. All I've ever done is lift it here and there, and it's something I wanted to lift. Like I wanted to roll out of bed and be able to lift a blob.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And I'm not talking the blob 50. I'm talking about the actual blob. So that's been a goal of mine, and that's something I've wanted to do. At the onset of this, when I first signed into TGA a long time ago, Jedd always asks you what your 3 goals are, and mine were lifting the inch, lifting the blob, and having a 45-pound plate. Well, the plate I've done, the inch, that's way out there if ever. And the blob, though I've lifted the blob 50, I've not done the official blob, but I'm not the kind of guy that wants to just lift it once and then just never worry about it for another 10 years. I kind of want it to be that thing that I just do all the time, like what we see on Jedd's videos and in Juhai's videos. That's what I want to be doing with it. So that's my goal this year is working weight for me, be it holds, reps, you name it, but that's what I want to. That's something I've had for a long time.
Hey, the easiest way to do that, Alan?
How's that?
A reverse countdown clock. So let's say, you can start it out doing once every day. So that's 1 rep every 24 hours. And then you just gradually start working the time backwards. So you do it once every 20 hours. And then before you know it, you're doing it once every 12, and then you're getting under 12 hours. And you just make it almost like a grease the groove activity. And then before you know it, you'll start increasing your frequency exponentially instead of just linearly. So you'll go from twice 12 hours to be able to do it every couple of hours, and then multiple times an hour, just like that.
Oh, That's just clever. I never heard of that. How did this never come up in any of the Team Napalm discussions we had? This is awesome. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
All the blob discussions we had, we talked about that for a year straight.
Yeah, I know.
That's your sandbagging on you, Alan. He's holding back his tricks.
I think so. Yeah, that's good. That's just clever. I'm using that.
It's almost like an exposure thing.
Oh yeah.
Think about it like
no,
OSHA.
you just. That's awesome. I should literally get a clock that represents that for my little grip area too. That is epic. I love the thought of that. Wow, that's a gem. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Well, we know what Alan's doing after we end the call. Alan's going down to the garage right now.
What Alan's doing.
Yeah, no, that just pumped me right up, kind of like the inch clean did for Jedd. So holy crap. Yep, that's a highlight of my day right there. Okay.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Good. You done there, Alan?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Just soak that up.
Alan might not even finish the call, Jedd. He might go in the garage right now.
It's kind of a thought. I was thinking of doing that staticky "can you hear me now" thing and just clicking out.
There you go.
Yeah. That's funny. The next goal that I want to do is, and this is a very short-term, deadline type goal, and that's lift the Millennium dumbbell. So
wow.
I should hopefully have an opportunity to try one when I'm in Dubai in February. And believe it or not, the shameful thing, and I can't even believe that this is, I'm going to say this, but this is the God's honest truth. I was at Pat Povolitis' house in 2005, and John Wood had a Millennium dumbbell there, and I was scared to even try it.
That's
I was
right.
scared to even try it.
That's normal. You're a human. That's
yeah.
not a big deal. You're ready now.
The way that my mindset has changed over the years is just incredible, because I used to be scared. I didn't even try to lift the original Fat Man Blob at the Night of Strength back in 03 or 04 because I was so intimidated by it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's a little surprising.
And it's totally true, bro. I don't know, something clicked the last few years where that doesn't happen anymore with implements. For instance, when I was at Better's in September last year, he had the 30 kilo strength shop or whatever block weight. It's like a blob replica. I can't remember who makes it now, but it's 30 kilos, so about 67 pounds. And I was not prepared to lift that. I hadn't been really training too much with implements that big, but I went right after it and broke it off the ground several times. So I hope to be able to lift that as well. But definitely, right now the thick bar stuff has just been in high gear, and I dug out that giant handle with the standard plates. It takes the standard plates, that loadable handle, and I PR'd on that again the other day with a pretty nice level lift of 177. So I personally feel that plate loadable dumbbells are harder for me than a globe dumbbell, because with the plate loadable, first of all, I don't allow any contact with my arm at all. So my hands got to work very, very hard, so it makes it very tough. And with the globes, I think with my hand design, I end up getting pretty good contact on the globes, just it's unavoidable. So, it might be a lofty goal, but I'm training it really hard right now, and it complements the inch clean goal, because the things that I'm doing are gonna propel both feet. So, looking forward to it.
How heavy is the Millennium Bell? I forgot.
228. 228.
Something, yeah. I've heard everywhere from 224 to 238. So I don't know if there's variation in the bell or what. And it's not just a big inch dumbbell. I think the handle's actually longer also. So there's some things that make it quite a bit different from the inch dumbbell, I believe. But I'm not even going to think about that, dude. I'm going to get my hand warmed up. I'm going to get chalked up. I'm going to chalk that piece better than it's ever been chalked, and I'm going to turn the camera on and go for it. That's all there is to it.
There you go. There you go, Jedd.
Yeah, man.
Nice. I can't wait to see that. Want to
Yeah,
do that?
Simone had one. He doesn't have it anymore. He had one. I think it was 228, or someone lent it to him, and it was 228. And yeah, it's bigger globes, bigger. I don't know if the handle is bigger, but it might. I think the handle on Odes was a little bit longer.
That's what I meant by bigger. Is longer. I think instead of like a 4-inch dumbbell handle, I think it might be 5-inch.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is just bigger. It's a huge piece of metal. So I didn't have any prayer of even budging it, so I didn't even investigate it really. But I've seen it in person before. It's massive. So
Sweet.
If you can even break that thing off the ground, that's ridiculous.
Right. Well, and I'm not gonna have any bones about like after the first couple attempts, like tilting the hell out of it either. And believe it or not, the other day I actually lifted my homicide bell with the back bell braced against my hand, and it was easy. Like I'm talking like super easy. I can crack it off the ground maybe 3/4 of an inch without bracing, and I don't know if I've ever even tried to lift it with it braced against my hand. And I could not believe how easy it was. So we'll see how it goes when we cross paths with the Millennium.
Wow, that's exciting.
Nice.
All right, so my last goal, I feel like my first two goals are very achievable. My last goal, I think it's important to set goals that make you, that push you, and that make you really extend yourself. And so,
hey, there's a quote out there that says, "If you're not scared by your goals, then they're not big enough."
Yeah, that's I don't know, I've never heard that quote before, but I would agree with that. And so, and I have no problem putting my goals out in public either. So I think the 3 I'll be able to certify. I think I'll be able to lift over 100 kilo on Rolling Thunder by the end of the calendar year, maybe sooner, maybe much sooner. So my third one is that I would like to place on the podium in that Sawa Open when I go to Finland. I would like to get in the top 3. And I fully realize I might not win a single event. So it would take an extremely balanced performance to do that. I could get last. Who knows? It's traveling internationally. At least I have international travel experience now, which is kind of helpful. But yeah, that's my goal. I would like to place in the top 3 during that contest.
Awesome, man. Hell yeah. And I just did a quick Google search for if your goals don't scare you. And there's a couple variations. It's, if your goals don't scare you, they aren't big enough. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. And, it continues along those lines. So pretty famous. Can't believe you didn't hear it. I'm actually insulted by the fact that you didn't hear that before. If I'm honest.
Well, I'll tell you a quote, so I don't think you can be insulted by it. But that's fine, Jedd. You can definitely be insulted if you like. If that motivates you to get back in the garage and shake off the icicles from the ice fishing and go basement or whatever, then go after it. But no, that's my third goal of this year. I'd like to get in the top 3 in that one.
Nice, buddy.
And it may not happen. And if I go there and if I hit PRs in an international contest and I get 7th, I'll be happy. I mean, any kind of PRs are fantastic, but I'm not going all the way over there to lose. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, mine, I just want to make it to more competitions this year. I've only been to, I think I just did one last year, aside from the, having ping pong here at my place. I'd like to actually make it around to a couple.
Cool.
So depending on what's out there, I don't know if Nate Browse is going to be having another South Jersey one or not, but that's something my wife and I had actually talked about getting back down that way again. Perhaps different travel method this time, but that and possibly something else. We'll have to see what else is out there. But that's the last one for me.
We'd love to have you out here in California. It's warmer here. That's always a plus.
Yes, that's funny. I tell you, every time I deal with these sub-zero days, it's just one more time that I think it's time to get out of Wisconsin.
Do you ice fish out there, Alan? I can't remember. I think we've talked about it. I don't think you do you?
I don't ice fish. No. I have nothing against it. That's just it's like one of those things that your dad teaches you how to do, right?
Yeah. Right.
And that was just never a thing for him, And it's just something I've never picked up, unfortunately. But it does seem like fun, That's something I like. Some of the things you see in the movies, especially like if you've seen Grumpier Old Men, with how they have those little towns. That's kind of how it actually is in some areas. I see where people are doing that out here on some of the lakes near my place. It actually looks like it'd be a pretty good time. and I've just never taken to it for what
right.
and no real good reason. I kind of just need somebody to go with and show me the ropes, and that'd be about it. But
it is a good time, especially when they're biting. So
yes, that's true of any type of fishing. Yep, for sure.
Unfortunately, it's ice fishing, not ice catching, so there's no guarantee.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Y'all done, Alan? I don't want to jump on you.
Yep.
Okay. And then I'm going to say that sometime this year I want to get the number 4 Silver Bullet record back. I don't recall. I think it's being contested in April, and I have plans of going to Philly and putting up a good showing there. So I think by then I will be fully recovered from this finger, God willing, and be ready to go and set a big number there. I know that when I grabbed the number 4 and tried a Silver Bullet here a few months back on a whim, I was able to break the number that I put up last February.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think I might have gotten 20 seconds or something like that. It wasn't with the same gripper. It was like a 210, and I never rated the number 4 that we used last year. So it's not the hardest number 4 that I have. I actually have like a 224 number 4 from.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. From
ouch! Yeah, that's ugly.
Yeah, and I can latch it down on the Silver Bullet, but I can't get more than a few seconds. It's so hard. So, and sometimes it's so hard I can't even clamp it down on the actual bullet.
Yeah.
So, and then besides that, I want to run the most successful NAGS championship ever in June. So I'm actually.
Oh, you're hosting it this time around?
Yes.
Isn't it in New York, upstate New York?
Yes, it's going to be in. I'm not sure if it's Elmira or Horseheads. I can't remember, but do you remember, Alan, from the Team Napalm calls? I had one of my good longtime friends, Brad Martin, on the call.
Yes.
And we talked about back injuries. So he has a nice gym, really, really nice gym, beautiful layout, lots of space, and he said that we could hold it there this year. So I kind of made an announcement that I would be interested. I ran it past Gil, made sure he was all right with it, and he said, take it away. So we'll be running it up here in New York State. It's about 45 minutes to an hour away from my house, but it looks like we've already got several people that are confirming that they will be there. You're looking at like a lot of New Jersey people, a lot of the Canadian constituents have talked about coming down. So there's a potential there for a very strong showing from as far as the competitors, based on initial interest. So, and whether or not I actually compete in it this year, I'm undecided. Just because I wanna make it as good as I possibly can, and that's awful hard to do that when you're also competing. So I'm just undecided.
Yeah, it's tough for sure.
Well, I like the idea that the venues of that change periodically. I think that kind of gives an element of excitement too.
Yeah.
So you don't kind of fall into the same old routine. That ought to make it really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, so those are my goals, guys.
That's a great goal. I mean, anyone who takes their time to help further the sport, my hat's off to them. I think it's fantastic. So I think that's a very selfless goal, Jedd, and I think that's very admirable.
Well, dude, I appreciate that. I've had my share of competitions and all that stuff, and won a few, and right now I really want to knock down some of these feats that are, at one time I never thought I'd be able to do them. So,
right.
So some of these things, they've just taken my interest. I'm really captured by these things right now, and I feel that I can kind of make a better, contribution to the sport by pouring effort into the running of the competition versus trying to take care of myself and, selfish needs of doing well at it. So, help grow it and things along those lines. That's my main interest.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Fantastic.
Good discussion on goals and prediction, guys, and it was nice having Clay on today. Maybe we get him on here some other time again, because he is a very good speaker. He and I, believe it or not, are actually not related, but I guess related in a business sense because we are aligned with John Beatty in his strongman performances. So I may actually end up seeing Clay a couple times this year doing some strongman shows. So we found out about that last week, and that was pretty exciting too. So we may even have the possibility of running grip competitions in Moss Wrestling right alongside strongman shows at like big state fairs. So
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Clay has traveled to Russia to do Moss Wrestling, so he knows a thing or two about that also.
Mhm. Yep.
So. Awesome.
For sure. Really appreciate you guys taking care of the shows the last couple times, man. For real. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Well, that's no problem. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked the last episode that we did. That was a good time. The exchanges there and some of those things. So
nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to get into that one.
Very good.
Sweet. All right. Thanks. Why don't you take it away, Alan?
Well, that's it for episode 40 of This Week in Grip, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back next week with another one. Talk to you guys later.